Hi, everyone, and welcome to day 5, my last day of a military spouse journey. And thanks to all of you who have had such wonderful, kind comments about everything going on and good questions. And I'm just so thankful that so many people have enjoyed this. And so, where did I go? I had the most amazing day. Amazing. So first of all, I have to give a huge shout out to our Marines and Navy branches because, wow, you guys completely impressed me today. So here is what I did today. We actually got on MH-53 helicopters today and flew out to the Gulf to visit the Charles de Gaulle aircraft carrier and also the Kearsarge that was out there pretty close to it. And I got a total of 4 helicopter rides, which was amazing and fantastic. It just was incredible. I wish everybody would have a chance to do that. And I just had such a great time. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the ships. There's all kinds of really amazing world news that's going on around that as far as our fight with ISIS. And I'm going to leave that to my amazing colleague press team that has been covering that. And I hope that you'll go and read a lot on that. But since my mission is to more so cover from a spouse's perspective, what it's like for her soldier to or service member to be deployed. I'm focusing more so on that, but I do want to give you a little bit of information as far as why we went out there and what it was like. And so the Navy and the Marines completely blew me away and impressed me. And I'm sure the Navy Marine spouses and service members out there are like, well, yeah, we knew we were that awesome. So every branch has amazed me. And so today we flew on the helicopters, which I have to say, the helicopters, it was such a smooth ride. I didn't even know that we took off until we were already up in the air. And the only way I can describe it for those of you who haven't had a chance to do it before is that it's it reminds me of when you're going up the hill of a roller coaster. And it's nowhere. I mean, it's the closest that I can explain it, where it's dig, 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 and your whole body is shaking, And at one point, I closed my eyes and I just put my head back and just felt just the rumble of the helicopter, and it just was thrilling. So, and of course, the back of the helicopter is open, so you can see out and to see the ocean and we were going amazingly fast, which you wouldn't even be able to tell from the inside. And that's one thing that's one of the few things on this trip that's kind of frustrated me is all the aircraft that I've been on have very few windows. And so it's very strange to, go in an aircraft and then take off somewhere and then show up in this completely different place or a different country. And so it kind of made me think about how, a lot of our service members are going on missions and having to step in one place and just get out in an entirely different place and different setting. So we went to the Charles de Gaulle ship first, and it's a French ship, and pretty much the whole crew is French. And they were so welcoming and so amazing to us, and very sweet and kind. And I have to tell you that right now with the Charles de Gaulle, we're making history, U.S. history, world history, really. With the, we've been talking all week a little bit about with the war with ISIS, the battle with ISIS, whatever it is that we're doing. There is this, desire to have the coalition and certain allies working with us to kind of surround ISIS and take care of it. But with the Charles de Gaulle, what we have is, what was explained to me, is the first time in history we've ever had a French ship that's kind of is acting as a task force underneath America's Marines and Navy. And so it's not just that we have 2 partners. I'm having trouble with my hands in this video. It's not just that we have 2 partners, but we actually have the French ship working up underneath us as within the Americans. So that's the best way that I can describe it very simply. And that's making history. That's never been done before. And when we first went in there, they took us to a bar in the ship, which there's 4 bars in the Charles de Gaulle, like literally a bar. And so there's about, I think they said 2,000. I hope I'm getting that right. 2,000 on the ship, and they get 2 tickets a day, 2 drinking tickets a day. Of course, we weren't drinking, but they had behind the bar the most amazing cappuccino machines, espresso machines. And so, of course, all of us press, that the group that I was with, were going crazy over the coffee. And it gave me a chance to sit next to a French fighter pilot. And you have to understand that the Charles de Gaulle is the only non-American carrier vessel that can operate American aircraft. So to talk to a French fighter jet pilot who is one of the ones that are doing these nightly strikes in Syria and Iraq was a huge opportunity that I felt honored to be able to speak with him. To know that he is one of them that's on the front line actually doing those strikes. And it also gave me a really great international perspective on family life for another country and how that family supports that service member. And so he's a Navy pilot, and his wife is also Navy, although she stays at home with the kids now. So some of the things that he shared with me was just that he does the airstrikes, and we got into talking about how much he loves his job. And I will tell you that's a huge thing I'm going to come back to in a little bit. Is really seeing these service members and getting to talk to the troops, which is my favorite part of the whole trip, is to talk to these troops and see their faces light up when you ask them about their job. And to talk to them and find out which part of their job they love the most. And so when I asked the fighter pilot, what do you love about your job the most? Is it, because different people like different things about their jobs. And I asked, is it taking off the ship? Is it dropping bombs and feeling like you're making a significant impact in the battle? Is it completing the mission? What is it that you love about your job? And he had this grin that came on his face and this light that came in his eyes, and talking about taking off the ship. And it was so bright. His face his face was so bright when he said it. It just made me smile. I just couldn't help it. To see somebody else have so much joy in what they do best and how much they love it was priceless to me. And it's something I've been able to experience throughout this trip as I've talked with troops and encouraged them. And then he said something that was really sobering that I really appreciated, and I told him that. He said, obviously, in his really thick, wonderful French accent, obviously, I don't like to drop bombs. I don't like to hurt people. But that's what the mission is, and it's what I have to do. And I acknowledged how hard that must be. And it's amazing, isn't it, how you can have so much joy in what you do, and yet it can also bring you pain. And I think there's a lot of our service members, obviously, that go through that. And to love what you do and to just really enjoy it, but also know that it comes with a sacrifice even to your own psyche. So, and then he and I laughed about how crappy American coffee is because we were drinking this amazing French coffee on this ship, which blew me away. I couldn't believe I was doing that. So that was a real big highlight of my day, was talking to him. I also got to hear that the French military also has family programming and their version of BAH, child care help with the kids and support with the spouses. And but more than anything, he was so thrilled and honored to be able to work with Americans. He was talking about how much they have to learn, how much the French has to learn from the Americans, how much he loves to study underneath them, and how a lot of the French pilots come to America to study. And he was just really excited to be part of this. And that made me happy to know that a lot of these French sailors and Marines really not only love what they do, but they genuinely, and you could see it when we were visiting them, genuinely excited to be part of the mission that they are a part of. And they know that this is different and is historic. And so I don't have tons of video and pictures because we hit two ships and 4 helicopter rides, and we were back by 3 o'clock. And so it was a fast-paced day. But I do have a picture of us getting on the helicopter that I wanted to show you. And I actually also took a video of us taking off. And you can't really tell that we're taking off because there's not many windows. But it does give you a chance to see inside the helicopter. And I wanted to give you that chance. With the amazing smell of diesel and must that seems to be prevalent in the military world. So here's those 2 clips. So once we left the Charles de Gaulle, we flew to the Kearsarge. I think I'm saying that wrong now. I had it earlier today, but this was It is an American aircraft, and I have some pictures that I'm showing you of both of these because from the helicopter, I didn't even really get a chance to even see what we were landing on. I mean, honestly, out the back of the helicopter, it looked like we were about to land in the ocean when all of a sudden we landed on something more firm than water. And it was like, oh, I guess we're here. So I wanted to give you guys kind of a picture of what we landed on so we could see it. And I didn't get to see like all of the ship, but I really got a wonderful appreciation for the Navy and for our ships and for those that work and live inside of them. And so when we got off on the Kearsarge, USS Kearsarge, we immediately got to go to mess hall and eat with a lot of the sailors and Marines there. And I had a chance to talk with 2 other Marines who shared with me that they were both married with kids at home and also both loving their jobs. One was in infantry, and a lot of our Marines are on there in case something were to happen. They could be close by enough to do some special forces or special operations stuff. And so just being able to talk with them about their kids, and I could really see how much they were feeling uncomfortable that they were not going to get to see their kids for Christmas. And one of them was his baby girl was about to be born, is going to be born in the spring, and he'll miss that. And I just had this opportunity to encourage them, and there's something that I've been kind of saying or found myself saying over the course of this trip as I visited troops. Is just, when a conversation goes that direction, is just to say to them, and I can say this because my dad was an Air Force pilot, and I've also seen my own children come through a couple deployments as well, is just to say, you're teaching your kids by doing what you love to do, and sometimes that pulls you away, but it's who you are that makes a difference in your kid's life and in your marriage, more than how many holidays you miss. And so if we focus more on who we are to the people that we love, we're going to make a bigger impact than the impact of not being there at Christmas. And I hope that's meant something to those that I've talked to. It seems like it did, to just be able to say Merry Christmas and thank you for where you have to be. And I'm really glad that you love your job. And I'm glad that you do your job, and that it's okay, and that your family's going to be okay as long as you're who you need to be. And I know that kind of might contradict the fact that some of them also said that their biggest struggle is that they feel like family doesn't understand that they are literally working all day, every day. And I had heard that before. Matt had said that to me plenty of times in the past. He would comment, well, when he was gone for a year, that he worked solid straight for 365 days. And I thought, well, yeah, you didn't get a vacation, you didn't get a weekend. But I guess it didn't register to me that for some of our service members, they literally, get up and they work until they go to bed. And even if they did get off at 5 or 6 o'clock and could rest for the evening, they're still living around bosses and colleagues, and they don't ever really get off work, if you know what I mean. And so it really clicked for me that, okay, I've heard this over and over again each day. This really must be an issue. This really is something that we aren't understanding as spouses. We really don't understand why they can't call when they wish that they could call. And maybe that could be helped with more education, and if spouses had a better picture of what they do all day long every day. Not that we have to go and be there all day, but just perhaps if we gave spouses a better picture and why that piece of what they do matters in the overall mission, maybe we would understand a little bit more. I don't know. So after lunch, we were able to go to a hangar where we could see the Secretary thank the troops again. And I got to talk with a couple of other Marines there. One was an Osprey pilot, and that was cool. Another one was an infantry, and so just getting to encourage them as well. And I want to come back to this overall theme of joy that I found with the soldiers that I felt was really remarkable. When we see them at home, they're often training and getting ready and planning for deployments, or maybe there's no deployment coming up at all. And we've also heard of service members that get really frustrated or even depressed if they aren't deployable or can't deploy. And there's something about deploying that they long for. And so I thought about it today. Everybody that I've talked to, that I've had a chance to talk to this week, there was a light in their eyes and a joy in what they were doing. And there were times that I purposefully, like today on the helicopter, I just not only enjoyed it, but I allowed myself to show how much I was enjoying it. I wanted this crew chief. I wanted these Navy guys to see that I was enjoying what they did and that I appreciated it. And so I just kind of allowed some of that excitement to leak out. And it was really great to have them notice that and appreciate that somebody appreciated what they did, and that, yeah, they really did have a cool job, didn't they? And I also have to tell you that I have gotten an overwhelming response from service members when I tell them what I'm doing here, that I'm just a spouse that's kind of tagging along and giving a spouse perspective on what it's like to be deployed, because spouses never get to see that. And boy, their faces light up. And boy, I'm talking about a lot of lighting up of faces, but it's just been that kind of day. They just are like, really? That's awesome. That's the coolest idea ever. And, some of them are like, oh, let me show you around. Let me show you some of the things that I wish that I could show. And they've just been genuinely thrilled to know that somebody cared enough to show spouses what they do. And it really did mark me to notice how happy some of them were. And I actually had one Marine this evening, when I was sharing the same thing to him, said, a lot of people say, oh, I'm so sorry you're deployed, and I'm so sorry that must be horrible for you. And He's like, we're a volunteer service. We volunteered to do this, to sign up for it, and we want to go and do it. That doesn't mean we want to leave our families, but they want to go and do this thing that they've trained to do and what they're good at doing. And I will say that every person that I've talked to, or every job that I've experienced, whether it's been a pilot, a crew chief, an infantryman, or whatever, every MOS that I've come across this week, I thought about it as I kind of put my head back in that helicopter and closed my eyes for a minute and thought about it. Every job that I've come across is a sexy job. And I can totally understand why they signed up to do it and why they love to do it. And it's possible to love what you do and still love your family and love your kids and love your wife. And I'm so thankful to all of you spouses out there who support your service member to go and do what they do and work for the greater mission of especially what's going on here in the world. So, so that's the gist of it today. I really just want to encourage you guys again that you are on a no-fail mission for your marriage. And I will say that I've talked with Matt. I had a great chance to talk with him today since I got home early. Spent some good time with him on FaceTime and I thanked him for his posts that have been so amazing, and giving the role reversal perspective. And I think he's going to be putting more out on that, and because he's right on. The things that he's feeling are the things that we spouses have gone through, and I appreciate him putting his mind and heart into what we must go through and how we must be feeling. And but when we were talking about it, we realized, yes, I'm doing this for spouses because I want to give spouses a good picture of what our service members do and what it's like during deployment. But I think a secondary mission that's kind of come out of this is that a lot of what I've done this week, I don't know if there's been service members who've watched any of these videos, but from this side of the interaction that I've had with service members during this experience has been that what I have done and worked so hard on and trying to really put my mind into this is possibly even more of a service to them, because so many of them have felt validated and appreciative, and it's been of all the wonderful, cool things that I've seen, above and beyond everything else, like being with the troops this week, talking to them, encouraging them, having them open up to me thanking them, but more than that, having the opportunity to encourage them that we care about what they do, and that we care enough to learn about what they do. And it was just a relationship dynamic that was really sweet. And if any of the service members end up getting to watch these videos, because a couple of them asked for my contact information so that they could either pass it on to their wife or look for it later, I just want to say thank you to those that opened up to me. And some of them, when they found out what I was doing, took me under their wing for the little time that I was there and wanted to show me around. And I felt safe and I felt protected. And I know my husband deeply appreciates that. And it just was a very sweet, safe, wonderful experience. And I know that we have so many. That's one of the great things about our service members is how protective they are over, I think, all spouses. So anyways, thank you for joining me on this adventure. I'm sure there's going to be maybe 1 or 2 more videos, because I think this would not be complete if I didn't share the other side of coming home and this jet lag reintegration experience that's on the other side. I'm really looking forward to that. But already I've heard from Matt and him saying how hard he's working to make sure he's rested and make sure the house is set up, and it sounds so familiar. So I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to hear what you've thought about this journey, and questions that you might have. But otherwise, I hope you have an amazing Christmas. And thank you so much to Military Spouse Magazine for making this possible for me to be here, for the Department of Defense and the Secretary's office that came up with this idea that just really shows me and should show all of us that they really do care about our families, and it's important to them that not only our troops are taken care of, but so are our spouses and families. And it really has been a trip of a lifetime. And I'm looking forward to more of what's going to come out after this. If you are interested in more of, there's only so much I can write in a blog, and there's only so much that I can say in a video without completely overwhelming you. If you're interested in more, I've really worked hard to put this into words and have a book format. I'm sure Matt's stuff is going to be in there too, so we'll let you know when and if that's coming out as well. So anyways, thanks. I've had a great week. I've had a great week looking at social media and following along. And let me think. There was actually another video clip that I was going to show of the landing. And I also was going to show you, so I'll show you first the video clip of us leaving the Charles de Gaulle, and we were going up the elevator to get to the helicopters, and I number one, it was cool, and number two, we were saying goodbye to all the French sailors and Marines, and I thought that was really special. And then I also wanted to show you the landing that from the MH-53 when we were done for the day, because the video was the best that I could do. So anyways, thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you guys later.
No, don't worry about it.